Okay, here we go. I'm William Beasley, the Great Momo, and let's take a look at who is the best Avatar villain. And this video may have a few cuts in here because my father's currently eating. My sister and my mother are too busy watching TV, so I'm the only one to take care of a puppy. So I may have to do some... Oh, whoa. I may have to have some cuts in here and pause the video in order to take care, in order to play with them and stuff like that. Don't eat that. Okay, so like I said, let's look at the best Avatar villain. In Avatar, there are 5 main villains that we'll be looking at. That's Ozai, Amon, Unalaq, Zahir, and Kuvira. Let's start with with the big baddie we all loved. We all loved to see the original Team Avatar go up against Zuko. I mean, Fire Lord Ozai. Yeah, only Aang really fought him. Well, I guess you can count Zuko, but Fire Lord Ozai, everybody. I almost said every pony. Realized this wasn't one of my MOP videos. And I have to pause it. Technical difficulties. Now that that's out of the way, yeah, I had some technical difficulties right there with let's see here, a small power surge. Had to take a little while for my lights to get bright again. Just noticed that 2 of my lights are out. I'm going to need to get that fixed after this video. And also the dog's no longer in the room, so I don't have to stop for that. On to Ozai. When you say who's the most powerful firebender, 1 of 3 people will come to your mind. Iroh, Azula, or Zuko. I'm on the Iroh side, but it seems that the show and its writers are on Ozai's side. Because he is always referred to as the guy who can and will kill you if you get in his way. Even if you're Aang. Granted, Aang beat Ozai, but that was thanks to Avatar's state awesomeness. Because, you know, if he hadn't unblocked that chakra due to ramming into that rock, still don't know how that works. Ozai would have killed him. Go back and watch the last episode, it's true. Why is that song coming to my head now? Anyway, Ozai, something that's unique about Ozai is Amon, very first episode of book 1, we see him at the very end. It's like, gee, I wonder if he's evil. And not only that, but we hear one of his supporters giving a full-on speech and antagonizing Korra. Gee, I wonder if he's evil. And then we get Unalaq comes in, starts antagonizing Korra's dad. Gee, I wonder if he's evil. In the first episode of book 2, then in first episode of book 3, we see Zahir break out of prison. Gee, I wonder if he's evil. Then in book 1, and episode 1 of book 4 of Korra, we see Kuvira making a deal with the governor to the state of Yai. And he demands, due to the way she treats states poorly and makes them serve her. Gee, I wonder if she's evil. However, Ozai, not seen, not even mentioned in episode 1. And not only that, we don't see him till episode 1 of book 3. He's always a silhouette, or we don't see his entire body. Especially, we don't see his face, aside from his mouth a couple of times in Zuko alone. And when we do see his face, it's not like he's, Sunset Shimmer She-Demon, but he's still a pretty intimidating dude. And the way they revealed him, okay, I just gotta say something real quick. The way they revealed him was perfect. We went from Zuko's point of view, him looking down, then looking at his father by going from looking at the ground and following up his robe to his father's face. Perfect way to gotta get in the camera. Perfect way to introduce Ozai. So, what's wrong with him? Not much, except for this, aside from the time that we only really see him in the finale of the series and the premiere of the show, of the third season. And except for the little silhouettes and just the overall mention of his name makes people shudder. Who does that remind me of? You know who. You know who that reminds me of. You know who that reminds me of. You see what I did there? Alright. Moving on. But yeah, so just his lack of screen time. It's sort of the same problem with Nightmare Moon. His lack of screen time is what is his downfall. But you know, he just will stop at nothing. Cause hey Zuko, do you think these are putting more souls in the Earth Kingdom will make them like us more? No, they got hope. All right, hey, let's go destroy their hope. Yeah, that's Ozai. So, overall, I'm going to give Fire Lord Ozai a 8 out of 10. Now, before I get on with Amon, I want to talk a little bit about Legend of Korra villains. Ozai had the whole show to be the villain of Avatar: The Last Airbender. These guys had half a season. I know, don't tell me full season, because the full season is 26 episodes. Amon got 12 episodes, Unalaq got 14 episodes, and Kuvira and Zahir both got 13. That's math for you. So yeah, they each only got half a season. Technically speaking, there's only 2 seasons of Legend of Korra. Books 1 and 2, and then books 3 and 4. Books 3 and 4 work nicely as one story. Books 1 and 2 don't. It fears I'm about to get interrupted, so I'm going to pause this recording right now. So, where was I? Yes, Korra villains. They don't get that much screen time, and let's just go ahead and move on to Book 1, Amon. Now, while Book 1 was going, and after it had aired before Book 2 was announced, everyone loved Amon. Amon was like, oh man, Amon, he's better than Azula, yeah, Amon! Until Books 2, 3, and 4 came out, and it was revealed that Amon didn't amount to anything. Amon, like, what I mean by that is, not Unalaq got Korra to open up the spirit portals, and after harmonic convergence, having the portals be open caused the airbenders to come back, and since non-benders were getting airbending, non-benders like Zahir getting airbending allowed him to escape, get his group back together, and kill the Earth Queen. The Earth Queen being killed caused for Suyin to be called to duty. Suyin denied. Kuvira answered the call and became the Empress of the Earth Empire. Yeah. Amon, he had his revolution. It didn't equate to much except for a non-bender becoming the president of the United Republic, and a character who I think everyone hated until Book 4, and even in Book 4 he wasn't all that great of a character. So, yeah. Basically, to put it short, if you were to, in 300 years after Korra's lifetime, in the history books, I'm pretty sure harmonic convergence and the Water Tribe Civil War, along with the anarchy of the Red Lotus and the rise of the Earth Empire, will get a full section of a chapter in the history textbook, if not the full chapter. Amon's The Equalist Revolution, however, I think would get at most 2 paragraphs. That's why. And now the 100-Year War. Yeah, that's most definitely going to be a whole chapter. So yeah, Amon didn't really leave that much on the world after he was defeated. True, I mean Hiroshi being arrested did lead to Asami becoming the head of Future Industries, but I mean Shoko started off with book 2, and you could say both her parents were dead. She's like Batman. Although I'm glad they didn't, because the whole hero's parents are dead is been overused since Batman became real popular. One of the reasons I don't really like Big Hero 6 all that much, but that's another topic. On to Amon, the Equalist. He has some of the greatest speeches in that we've ever seen in media. I mean, he pretty much steals the show whenever he's on stage. Sorry, I gather my thoughts. Going to pause my recording right now. I guess I did. The fact that he didn't have any effect on the world is also a complaint. But another complaint of mine is he doesn't really do much himself except for talk and take away bending. Talk and take away bending is almost all he does, except for an end game where he shows off his blood bending skills. In Out of the Past, he takes away Tarlok's bending, yes, and shows his ability to resist bloodbending, saying he's a bloodbender himself. The way I think he did that was he bloodbent himself, and Tarlok tried to bloodbend him, and he bloodbend himself to stand up straight instead of fall down. So he was already controlling himself while Tarlok tried to take control of him. And then next, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, and then when he faced Korra, he just ran after her and she ran away, and there was no fighting taking done. In Turning the Tides, and then Turning the Tides. This is the episode the Equalists all take over Hulk City. So what does Amon do? Stands in an airship and then takes Lynn's bending away. I know we didn't see Ozai do anything either, but we never saw him. But we can assume that if anyone came in, he'd fight them. We saw many times when Amon could have had an awesome fight scene. He didn't have one, except for in And the Winner Is. And then he said Korra wanted to fight him. No task force, no chi blockers. He brought a bunch of chi blockers with him and just told Korra a bunch of what his plan was in episode 4. Yeah, the only real fighting we saw from him was in-game, And the Winner Is, and I guess you could count the Revelation. So that's my one big. I think that's more of a bigger complaint from me than that he didn't really have that much effect. So overall, hold on, no, let me talk more positively about one. But his bloodbending, it's even creepier than Hama's. And Hama's just like, but he suspends you in the air and you're like, But I do feel like because it's not a full moon, it's weaker. The only reason he can get you to stay there is if I feel like he was only really bending, he wasn't really bloodbending your legs. Your legs being like that was probably him bloodbending your feet. Whereas Hama can bloodbend your whole body. I think Amon during the day, at any time other than a full moon, can only bloodbend parts of your body, which is why. Whenever Yakone, Tarlok, or Amon bloodbent, they're always like this instead of having them move all around like this. Was because they could only bloodbend parts of their body, but by doing that, they could render their whole body useless. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like that's just a theory of mine that bloodbending in the day, if you have that ability, is weaker, a lot weaker, which is why Mako was able to break out of it. But yeah, no, once he does get bloodbending, it's pretty dang awesome, and I love how when he captures Mako, he's like, no one's ever bested me that way before. It's almost a shame to take the bending of someone so talented. Almost. And also his clean cut when he took away Lin's bending, like, tell me where the Avatar is. She said no. And he's like, alright. So, I'll give Amon an overall 7.5 out of 10. This is the villain I'm going to get the most hate for talking about. Unalaq. Most people call Unalaq a sad, sorry excuse for a villain. And I completely disagree. Why? Oh, let's talk about Unalaq right now. The main complaint people have about Unalaq was I knew he was a villain from the moment he stepped on screen. Weren't you supposed to? When has Avatar ever been subtle about their villains? Fire Nation, they're evil. Said in the very intro of the show. Most people knew Kuvira would be the villain of Book 4 before we even saw the Book 4 trailer, just from her presence in Book 3. Book 1, Amon in the Mask. I think they're not being subtle enough about him being evil. This is unsettling to me. No one got mad about that. Zahir breaks out of prison and just says, hey, I'm evil. And everyone's like, yeah! So why get on Unalaq? And if you ask me, I think we were supposed to see right through him. I feel like the writers did a great job of writing Unalaq's dialogue so that we saw right through him, but he was able to manipulate Korra. I mean, Tenzin and Tonraq saw right through him. Mako had his questions, but Korra was completely swayed by Unalaq because the writers did their job, what they're supposed to do. They want us to know who's the antagonist of this season, but they also want Korra to be able to go through something like be betrayed by someone you trusted. Now that that's out, time to get to the other parts of what makes Unalaq so amazing. He feels that the only way to set the world right is to become the Dark Avatar. How do you become the Dark Avatar? Fuse with Vaatu. But where's Vaatu? In the Tree of Time. So he persuades Korra in the way that she knows she'll be persuaded to open the southern portal. He keeps on her good side until his judge friend blabs, and then Korra won't help him open up the northern portal. How do you fix that? Well, you ask your twins to go after her and capture your kids who are twins. Also, Eska is better than Desna. I think most people agree with that part. To go out and get her, while you oversee stuff in your kingdom. I guess it's not really a kingdom, the Earth Kingdom. It's a tribe, but Unalaq is chief of both tribes. At this point, the South is under the rule of the North. Because, I guess people could argue Tonraq was a chief. Hakoda was chief of the Southern Water Tribe, but no one really ever saw him as a world leader or anything. So, it's still Unalaq, who is, chief. Varrick even says, Chief Unalaq, love it when he comes down here. So, which means he comes down here more than just for the Glacier Spirits Festival. I think that's what the name of that festival. So he did the exact right thing. Vaatu sent a dark spirit there to try and capture Korra itself, and ended up giving her amnesia. I didn't really understand that part of Vaatu's plan. It was kind of idiotic of Vaatu to do that, especially since Unalaq sent Eska and Desna. And I'm pretty sure that Unalaq didn't know, because he probably would say, oh, by the way, Vaatu's sending a spirit to help you out, because they, backed away from that, so, yeah. And then, he basically, and then what else should you do? Oh, I don't know, expand your armor. You got the soldiers of the Northern Water Tribe. That's good. How about going into the spirit world and turning almost every single spirit into a dark spirit who will serve you? also his ability to persuade spirits like Wan Shi Tong. And, another thing. Korra doesn't trust me now, but I still need her to open up the southern, but to open up the northern portal so I can become the Dark Avatar. How do I do that? Wait, you say Korra's in the spirit world? Portal with someone else? Go get that someone else and threaten to destroy her if Korra doesn't open up the portal. Then once Korra did open up the portal, he gave Jinora to Furryfoot to take to the Fog of Lost Souls to neutralize that threat, and then to neutralize the threat that is Raava, the spirit of light and peace, the one thing that could completely end his plans, considering that's who Vaatu battles during harmonic convergence. He decides to destroy Avatar Korra's spirit. The Avatar spirit being Raava. So when he had, all the purple water that would corrupt Korra's spirit at that time, he would have corrupted Raava. Whenever the Avatar crosses over into the spirit world spiritually, that is the form Raava is taking. Like, Raava is basically taking the physical form of that person, of the Avatar. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's a pretty smart thing to do if you're a villain who wants to take over the world by being the Dark Avatar. Why does he want to be the Dark Avatar? Because he feels that that Raava has failed the world, and what other high power spirit is there? Vaatu! And also, his intentions were that. Yet he was a part of the Red Lotus, and he knew the Red Lotus wouldn't allow him to follow out this and turn against him. He can't fight all four of them. So how does he neutralize this threat? Get a plan that sounds totally reasonable and that the Red Lotus can totally get behind, to kidnap Avatar and teach her in the ways of the Red Lotus. And then what happens? He doesn't show up to help them capture her, so that if they do end up capturing her, he can say, "Oh, I had some chief stuff I had to attend to and just could not get out of it," and then raise Korra in the ways of the Red Lotus. But if they don't succeed, he can then pursue his plans perfectly with the Red Lotus behind bars and him covering his tracks of ever being affiliated with them. Yeah, and more importantly, keeping a close eye on one of them, considering he kept P'Li in the Northern Water Tribe prison. So yeah, and then once Korra and Tenzin, Jinora's in the Fog of Lost Souls. Tenzin, Bolin, Mako. I don't know who else was with them. I think Tonraq as well. Yeah, and also his waterbending skills. Unalaq, in my book, Unalaq is the best waterbender. I guess Katara's pretty good. Minqua's pretty good. Pakku's pretty good. But I think Unalaq could beat Pakku. Maybe he's tied with Katara on skill. And Minqua. I'd say Unalaq, Katara, and Minqua are pretty tied on waterbending skill. But right now, like Toph said, we can't do any of this stuff anymore. Why do you think Zuko didn't want to fight the Red Lotus? Why do you think Katara didn't want to fight Unalaq? Because they're too old. That's why Toph didn't fight Kuvira. So yeah, right now, Unalaq could totally take on Katara and Minqua. I'd say they're tied. But yeah, no, Unalaq is an amazing waterbender. Completely kicked Tonraq's butt. And then once he was fused with Vaatu, his plan worked. He got fused with Vaatu. And then he fought with Korra, beat her. So now that you've beaten Korra, what do? You rip out you use Vaatu to rip Raava from Korra and destroy her. Unalaq destroyed Raava. You guys remember that, right? Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, and then to ensure that he can take control over the physical world, what better way than to scare them with a giant monster? What better way to use a giant monster than become a giant monster creating the Unavatu. I heard complaints that like, well, if Unalaq wanted to become all the dark after and everything, why did he just become a big giant dark spirit? Ever think that, oh, I don't know, maybe he can go back to being regular Unalaq? I'm pretty sure Unalaq has the power to go from Unavatu to Unalaq. I mean, hey, Korra didn't stay Giant Spirit Korra forever, did she? No. And also, he beat Giant Spirit Korra. He was about to nuke, like when Korra turned into Giant Spirit Korra, went to Republic City to fight Unavatu. He almost defeated her if it weren't for Jinora. If Jinora hadn't showed up, and pretty much what she did was she advanced Rava's lifetime by 1,000 years, making her emerge from Vaatu. Since, you know, light cannot exist without darkness, so that's where Rava would have emerged. So, like, in 1,000 years, Vaatu will emerge from Rava. Like, I don't know, like, the Avatar's gonna have, like, a really bad stomach, like, throw up, and, oh, hey, it's Vaatu. Crap. Yeah, so then Unalaq would have won if it weren't for Jinora. I give Unalaq a 10 out of 10. Moving on to Zahir. Zahir's the leader of the Red Lotus. I don't know if he was the leader when Unalaq was a part of the Red Lotus, or if Unalaq was a part of the Red Lotus, or Unalaq was the leader of the Red Lotus, but I'm just going to assume that Zahir was always leader of the Red Lotus. So Zahir obviously has resentment towards Unalaq, but that's okay because he's dead now. Oh wait, Unalaq's dead. Unalaq is the best villain. So Zahir was a non-bender who was a part of the Red Lotus, and apparently he is pretty good considering he had that much of security, and he got airbending after harmonic convergence. Beat up all the guards. I'm off to get my friends. He got Ghazan, he got Pali, and then he got Minquat, and then he got Pali, and hey, the band's back together. Then he infiltrated, Air Temple Island. I'm trying to think of the name of it, and showed himself to be a natural. Kaya got suspicious, and it's like, oh, it's here, and he finally showed off what his fighting abilities can do, and oh man, can Zahir fight with airbending, and his style of airbending is so much different, it's so much cooler, and then he tries to kidnap Korra, and very stealthily, he gets someone on the inside to let him into Zaofu, one of the most protected, a city that is better protected than Ba Sing Se. And he shows the skills of the Red Lotus, and he shows his airbending skills again. Already knowing how to fly with ease on a glider, and he fought against Kuvira and some other guard, and I think he won actually, and he was about to get Korra again after she was saved by Sue and Lin. It weren't for, I think it was Lin who shot a bunch of darts at his thing. I can't remember who it was that did that. And, then we have episode 9 where Korra and Zahir meet in the spirit world. And we learn that Zahir wants to conquer the world wants to destroy the world so he can plant the seeds for the new one, is what he said. So Zahir just wants, he just wants to see the world. I have to do this. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Everything burns. So Zahir just wants to watch the world burn. He's all about chaos. Since chaos is the natural order, he wants none of these world leaders, and he showed an extremely painful way to die through bending. That's right, he can suck the air out of people. That's pretty dark. He's the only villain to perform an on-screen kill. Now, I'm pretty sure. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Unalaq killed his father. I mean, just watch the movie Gladiator. It's not uncommon for that stuff to happen. So, And also, no, Fire Lord Ozai had a kill with Fire Lord Azulon. And what was I trying to say here? So yeah, Zahir has the only on-screen kill. That is huge. That is huge. Kuvira almost had an on-screen kill, but that was really more intimidating Varric. Trying to intimidate Varric. And then Talia dies. And he can fly. Which means I called it. A little time before this episode came out, I was thinking, I wonder if an airbender could fly by bending the air around their body. Zahir flew, and I think the way he did was he bent the air around his body. Now, it says True Venom, Enter the Void, weightlessness, and all that, but I feel like that's what I'm going with, is he bends the air around his body. And, we have the whole flying around scene with the fight with Korra, and it's amazing. He is about to kill Korra, except Jinora's here, and we all know that a villain cannot succeed if Jinora is around. I mean, just look at him on. He kidnapped Jinora. He got his butt handed to him. Unalaq was about to kill Korra. Jinora came in and saved the day. Zahir about to kill Korra. Jinora came in and saved the day. Wait, did I say Kuvira? No, Zahir about to kill Korra. Jinora came in and saved the day. Kuvira. Jinora, she almost hit Jinora with her big laser beam, which made her fall unconscious, so you don't do that to Jinora. I mean, Jinora is the best character in the show, so you don't do that to Jinora, so that's why she got her butt handed to her. But no. But overall, I give Zahir a 9 out of 10. Oh, this video's running a little long. I did go a little overboard with explaining how awesome Unalaq is, didn't I? Let's just move on to Kuvira. Kuvira, we saw her ability in Book 3 with as a metal bender, and we really saw it in Book 4. She bested the Avatar in the Battle of Zaofu. She can beat a whole squad of bandits single-handedly, and she can persuade people to join her like that. Very, very, very conniving Kuvira. Now, the one flaw she has is the same flaw that Ozai and Amon had. Not enough screen time. I guess you could say Unalaq didn't have enough screen time, but the amount of screen time that he did have, he was really amazing. I think Zahir had the most screen time out of all of our villains. So, yeah. But Kuvira, she was amazing, manipulative, and like when Varric said, "I ain't building you a weapon," how about now? Yeah, I'll build you a weapon. Good. So, what else is there about Kuvira other than she's very scary and she's an awesome bender? Well, I guess, a lot of people say, well, she's a lot like Korra, but, I guess, so, well, but then again, Korra's a great bender, and she's scary, so I already covered that part. Kuvira's not as hot-headed as Korra, though, and I will say that, Kuvira has one heck of a silver tongue, one that almost rivals Unalaq's. How she never told Bolin about our concentration camp, their little concentration camp type areas, the re-education camps. Come on, they're concentration camps, prisons. And once he and Varric were all like, "This bitch is crazy. We're getting out of here." So, gotta get my thoughts together. I feel like most people can root for Kuvira the most because, it's either who's gonna run the Earth Kingdom, Kuvira, a strong, powerful bender that doesn't take crap from anyone, and she knows how to handle a nation. She's been doing it for 3 years now, and the Earth Empire has been cleaned up. It's cleaning up nicely with all the bandits. Or Prince Wu. Now, and everyone was having, book 4 was still running, and everyone was saying, "Oh, which side are you on, Kuvira or Prince Wu?" I was a Prince Wu guy, keep it in the family, but most people sided with Kuvira, and I can see why. I especially enjoyed, and in the coronation episode, when she was supposed to give her words to stand down, she's saying, "This brooch it doesn't mean anything. I am the leader of the Earth Empire." And she even changed the name from the Earth Kingdom to the Earth Empire. And the only thing I don't understand is since she resented Zaofu, Zaofu was the last place she conquered for good reasons. It was where she lived, and that's where she said Su were. When we return, it will be on our own terms. And but what was I going with this? I gotta recollect my thoughts again. I don't remember where I was going with that, but let's just say the way she threatened Su, then what's coming for Zaofu, because she automatically knew that Zaofu would not give in to her demands, and then she beat up Korra at the Battle of Zaofu, and we didn't see much of her after that episode, after episode 6, until Kuvira's Gambit. Did we see any of her? No, I don't think we did, except for her henchmen, or I don't know if they were henchmen or just supporters that kidnapped Prince Wu. I'm guessing they were henchmen. But her mech. I like Day of the Colossus better than The Last Stand due to the fact that I just love everyone trying to stop that mech and how invincible it was. It was so amazing to see how creative she was to get Baatar Jr. to build that. So I give Kuvira an overall 8.5 out of 10. So that means at the top we have Unalaq with a 10 out of 10. Then we have Zahir with a 9 out of 10. Kuvira with an 8.5 out of 10. Ozai with an 8 out of 10. And last place we have Amon with a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you all, and tell me why this video sucked in the comment section below.